In a local area of California, a murder occurs. The local police seek help from the FBI to describe the crime scene. Local police description. A search dog detected the buried body of a 22-year-old girl with red hair 1 meter underground. She had facial wounds, but the cause of death was something else. Bruised gums and bloodshot eyes. Yes, she was suffocated. The workshop's guess is that the killer didn't intend to kill her, but to assault her. He took her out of the village to do his job comfortably, but the girl screamed for help, and the killer wanted to silence her, but he suffocated her instead. Officers visit Sophia's family and inform them of their daughter's death, asking them several questions. Sophia's family says, last night she didn't return. She was working in a restaurant until 11 p.m. and her car was in the restaurant's parking lot. No one has seen her since that last night. We celebrated breakfast with all her friends, but no one had any news of her. She was very happy. She wanted to go to college in Los Angeles. She had won a scholarship. Her father asks if someone had touched her. Investigator. No. She was wearing her clothes, and there were no signs of assault on her. The investigator asks if Sophia didn't participate in parties. Her mother says she was a good and modest girl. She had voted to remain chaste since ninth grade and was shy around boys. They visitor Oliver's, Sophia's brother, and he asks them what happened to his sister. Oliver asks if they know who killed her. No. If you find out, will you tell me? Why? Just like that. Oliver wants to avenge his sister. As the officers search Sophia's room, they see a large picture of Sophia's friend in the middle of the room, and it seems like someone has cut the picture. One of the officers said that last night, while patrolling around the midnight, there were intoxicated people in front of the disco, and they were out of control, and a suspicious black van passed by at high speed, possibly related to this case. The investigator orders them to search the surrounding forest thoroughly. Perhaps an important clue will be found. The officer go to the restaurant where Sophia worked, owned by a couple, the Johnson family, with Mrs. Johnson managing the kitchen section and Mrs. Johnson busy with marketing. They say Sophia worked for us 2 years ago, and she was good, and we were satisfied with her. Even her machine wasn't taken from our parking lot. Police. Wasn't her behavior strange here? Did she have a boyfriend or co-workers she had trouble with? Mr. Johnson jokingly says, I didn't kill her, and I have 10 employees who can testify. Officers ask when she finished work and left. Mrs. Johnson, the restaurant owner, says she needs to check the entry-exit list and sees that she left at 11:25 p.m. In the midst of the conversation, Sophia's friend, whose picture was in the room, comes, and she was also her co-worker. Police. Were you close to Sophia? She denies being her friend and says, we were just simple co-workers, and I only saw her at work. Investigator. So, why is your picture enlarged in the middle of the room? She says, maybe someone secretly took the picture, and I don't know him about it at all. The officer asks for the name of her boyfriend. She didn't have one. Then, why did someone cut a man out of the Christmas photo? She denies it and seems scared. The investigator comes with the file and talks to Sophia's friend, telling her not to be afraid of anything. Her friend is dead and she needs to help us find her killer. We'll take care of you. She seems to calm down a bit, but doesn't say anything and leaves the restaurant crying. They go to Sophia's wardrobe and, when they open it, they see a word written on paper. Sorry. Certainly, one of her co-workers wrote it and left it there. The police gathered all the co-workers and the Johnson couple, the restaurant owners, and announced that the handwriting team wants everyone and trying to determine who wrote it. Mr. Randall, who was the head chef there, panics after this statement, and they realize it was his doing. They take Randall for questioning and check the entry and exit of that day. They realized he left 10 minutes earlier than Sophia. Randall says he was waiting for Sophia in the parking lot to talk to her. When Sophia came 10 minutes later, he waited for her. Randall thought she was waiting for him, so he approached her and expressed his love for her. But she didn't accept, and he wanted to kiss her, and she got angry and left. That's why I left this handwritten note in her closet to apologize. Randall thought Sophia was waiting for him, when, in fact, she was waiting for someone else, her boyfriend. The officers continued to look for drivers who had a black van, likely the killer. Sophia's guilt-ridden friend comes to the police station to spill everything about her boyfriend. She explains that her cousin Jack got acquainted with Sophia at a Christmas party, and since then they had been in a relationship because her cousin feared retaliations from the drug mafia and worked for if Sophia reported him. So, Sophia was waiting for Jack that night. The strike team moves to arrest Jack. They enter his house, but Jack escapes from the back window. After a chase, he is caught and taken to the police station. Interrogation of Jack begins, and the investigator says, "We know you were Sophia's boyfriend, and the black van was for you, and you were waiting for her in the parking lot. What happened there?" Jack says, "We loved each other, and Sophia was in love with a tough guy like me, and our relationship was very special. That night, I was supposed to go look for Sophia, but I was 10 minutes late, and I thought she had already left. So I angrily left the place, and that's why I'm guilty forever." The interrogator asks, "What do you think about her going to college in Los Angeles? Were you upset that she wanted to leave you?" Jack responds, "No, actually I wanted her to succeed, and I asked her to leave me forever and pursue her dreams." The police find some of Sophia's blood on the car seat of Jack's car and ask him why Sophia's blood was on the seat. Jack says, "She disrespected me a few weeks ago and I should have disciplined her." Sophia's brother enters the room and angrily tries to attack Jack, but interrogator convinces him that the investigation is not over yet and he must wait for justice to take its course. So far, he is the prime suspect because he might have taken Sophia with him at that time. As the police were searching through the files, they discovered another victim matching Sophia's description. A young redhead found bound in a hotel. It seemed Sophia had also been intended to be taken to a hotel, but the plan failed. The police began investigating all the hotels in the area to check who made a reservation that day, but no one had. Eventually, they found a room that had been reserved that day, but no one had shown up. The detective approached the hotel owner to inquire about the reservation and which room had been booked. The owner pointed to a room and described a peculiar man with a bushy hair, wearing a hat and dark glasses, who had altered his appearance. The detective checked the cabinets and found gloves and a shroud in one of them, indicating Sophia was supposed to be brought to that room. Realizing that if the gloves and shroud were still there, someone else might be targeted, the operational team lay in wait. After hours, two individuals brought in a young redhead, and those two were no one other than the owners of the restaurant, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, who were Sophia's employers. They were arrested and charged. But what was their motive? After several sessions with a psychologist, it was revealed that they had mental disorders and derived pleasure from assaulting young red-headed girls. They were convicted, and their sentence was death by execution. The case was closed. If you're into crime stories and documentaries, subscribe to our channel because we'll be posting loads of videos every day. See you soon!